Now, the Knights 42-6 over the Bulldogs. I'll be honest, I was nervous about this game going in. And the early exchanges, I felt like I had a reason to be nervous because the Bulldogs were really strong early. But after that try to Gagai, the energy just completely went out of the Bulldogs' defence. Some of those misses were awful.
Yeah,
shocking.
They were at 6s and 7s, if you want to put it in that, frame it like that. No, they were just, guys were rushing up. They just obviously weren't talking, communicating in defence. It was back to the bad old days at the start of the year for the Bulldogs. I was with you, Matty. I thought arguably this is the best side that they've put out all year for the Dogs, but the Knights, what's that now, 6 in a row?
I reckon it's 15, 20 years, I reckon, since we've won 6 in a row. Maybe I'm wrong. 2019. So, sorry. 4 years. I mean, 4 years, 20 years.
All about research.
It is, and I'm glad you noticed that, yes. All about research. But then, you know, 15 years, 4 years, there's not much difference when you're Matty.
No, you're right. That's right. I mean, time does go quick. It does. But, yeah, good performance of Newcastle Knights, and I think it pushes up to 6 on the ladder. We'll find out a little bit later.
Us up to 6.
Oh, so anyway, Newcastle, you know, Jacob Preston could be a bit of strife. There was a hip drop tackle on Jackson Hastings. Jackson Hastings will get a scan, no doubt, tomorrow and find out the extent of it. Look, Jacob Preston, there's no doubt that was not deliberate. He's not that type of player, but again, it's bad technique.
But that's the thing. I don't think any hip drop is deliberate. You're in the moment there, playing rugby league. You're trying to make a tackle. You're trying to tackle someone and bring them to the ground. It's not good. I think he's been involved in one before prior. But Hastings, look, if he got taken off field, didn't come back, the way he carried on, he better be in a plaster next week. I'll give you that right now. But
geez, you're harsh.
Well, he was rolling around.
He was the victim. Remember the first hip drop with Carrigan a couple of years ago?
Yes.
That was the first one.
When he was at the Tigers.
Yeah, he was
same
out.
leg, same ankle.
Same ankle. So I don't think he's foxing.
That is a big blow to Newcastle because the rise of Kalen Ponga and his forms had a lot to do with Jackson, how he's been playing. We're going to go back to Newcastle shortly. Going to talk to Kalen Ponga, hopefully. That band's not on still, is it?
We've all come together.
Okay, good.
I wish it was.
Yes, me too.
Honestly, I mean, I'd rather hear what Hindy has to say and Matty has to say and Fletch has to say than any player. Fact. These people know rugby league. Players are just players, let's face it.
Yeah. Thanks for saying what I was thinking, Steve. Thank you very much.
You've got to be truthful on these shows. You come on these shows, people expect you to say what you think.
Yeah, sometimes. 48-2 storm over the Raiders. What do you think of the Raiders, HG?
Well, it wasn't us out there, was it? That's Ricky's line these days. Most of the Raiders, I didn't know who they were, really, to be quite honest. I thought they were the Tigers. And looked at it with that in mind and wasn't disappointed at all with their performance. No, most of the Raiders are on the trip to Bali already, and they're coming back on, next weekend to play another game, similar outcome. But it was good from the Storm, even though they beat nothing except the Tigers.
I tell you what, boys, Harry Grant started on the bench, come on after 20 minutes. It did the trick. I mean, I don't think he'll go with it. It certainly won't be the case next week and through the finals, but it worked well. Works well at Origin, worked well in that game today.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Eli Katoa was enormous. That right side combination he's got with Jerome Hughes going to cause all sorts of issues for him. Yeah, Raiders, considering what they've been doing this year, I found it was an unusual performance by them in the sense of their defence.
They looked the better side early, though. I thought the Raiders looked good early. A good 10, 15 minutes into the game. They looked like they had a bit of pressure against Melbourne. Melbourne defended very well. And all of a sudden, like it happens quite often, you defend your backside off, you get a couple of sets and you end up scoring the first points.
Now, the warm-up was good.
Didn't even drop a ball. Didn't drop a ball in the warm-up.
Shit warm-up, shit performance. That's how...
It's true. It's true.
Now, letting people know we're going to be crossing to Newcastle soon. Is the band back on?
It might still be on.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, the news hasn't reached Newcastle, the band's on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, bloody Telstra. How we going there, Cleggy? Technical issues. We'll get around it soon. 54-10, the Broncos over Parramatta. Broncos are flying and they're getting better every single week. They are the I mean, they're the biggest threat to the Panthers, no doubt, going back to back to back.
Massive threat there. They were clinical again, the Broncos, led from the forward pack. Then they just give it to their backs and they do their job there quite easily. But the Eels, they were out their feet early, 24 block by half time, and it was all over by then. And just this bloke here with the ball, Reece Walsh, again, I'd love to have a little bit of speed like that, like the different speed, mate. And when Pappenhausen comes back for Melbourne, or he played a full game today, Paps, he'll make that difference to Melbourne if he gets back in there and takes Marnie's spot.
The thing about that, I said before, the improvement in the Broncos side, but it's just not the team, the individuals. Like in Pat Carrigan, we spoke about this last week. You're watching him, his ball playing, just a very, very clever footballer. He did a lot of ball playing in this game, very effective.
Well, he's got the defence in two minds, because we've seen him play where he can just carry it up, but now he's added that little bit of ball playing ability to him. The other thing too, it's their centres. They've got strike. We talk about the halves and Reece Walsh at the back, but when nothing's doing, they just throw it out to Katoni. He can beat 2 or 3 blokes. Yeah. And the other kid too, Herbie, our man,
Farnsworth.
Yeah. Hey, boys, guess what? I've just... The RLP have announced the ban is off. Let's go back. Let's go to Newcastle. Speak to Caleb Connor. Mate, congratulations, Kalen. 6 win in a row.
Hang on.
I think
Clint Newton's gone into this.
How are we going there? No, it's dropped out again.
Yeah. He's powerful, Clint.
Dropped out. Unbelievable. There you go. Anyway, I just had a good question ready for
what are we going to ask him?
Oh, hang on. Is he back, Slats? Is it? Kalen.
Yeah. Am I on, boys, or...? No, you play that again.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Kalen. You got us? This is...
I can't hear anything.
This is good. We'll just leave. That's right. Anything else, Slats?
It's broken.
No, it's all right. Hey, can you hear us, Kalen?
We can't hear it.
I got you now, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Hey, listen, mate. I've got a stat for you. 6 in a row, the first time since 2019.
Thanks, mate. See you, Zane. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Yeah, pretty happy with that one.
Nah, boys are going good, Kalen. Confidence high, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously, the second half there wasn't good enough, I believe. But to get 6 in a row, we'll put ourselves in a good position leading into these back 3 games at home. Mate, it's awesome playing here. Yeah, but we do need to be better.
Kalen, Heine, mate, what do you need to do better? Like, you won 6 in a row, but you just said it then. You need to be better. Where do you need to be better?
I thought in the second half we were a bit scrappy. Turned the ball over too much. Didn't complete. I think at one point we're at 30%. So leading in these 2 next games, Rabbitohs and Sharks, you can't do that against those sort of teams.
My thoughts exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Kalen, it's Fletch here, mate. 6 in a row. Is it coincides with you actually sitting on the lounge about 6 weeks ago and telling us that you were off the market and in a relationship? Is that got something to do with it? Are you basic? I mean, you know what they say, happy
engaged?
wife.
Is he engaged?
Happy. Are you engaged now?
Happy life.
Are you engaged?
No. I'm definitely not engaged.
I was going to say, well...
I got no comment.
Well done.
Things are good on and off the field, boys.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of it off the field, we'll let you get showered and get to Fanny's and have a few beers.
Thanks, boys.
Now,
I rest my case. Talking to players is a complete waste of time. Not only are there technical problems, but when they come on, they've got nothing to say. These blokes have to feed them lines. All they get this nod of the head. Are you engaged? How many in a row now? 6 here. Well, that might sitting on the lounge. Yeah, sure. See what I mean? The band was great.
yeah, it was, HG.